The Ladybird Book of The Hangover. Sometimes when we drink too much, we get a hangover. There's no cure for the hangover, but it can be treated with a cup of strong coffee and a couple of fried breakfasts. A good hangover should be a total mystery to you. How did this happen? Why do you feel so ill? Pretend to yourself that you drank less than you did. Insist you stuck to beer, forgetting the champagne at the start of the evening and the round of jalapeno tequilas you did for a bet in that club next to the dual carriageway at 2 a.m. Some hangover symptoms are caused by impurities which enter the body along with the alcohol. These impurities can include methanol, acetone, acetaldehyde, oh my goodness, what a word, esters, tannins, grab bags of Wotsits, railway grade pastries, and KFC Zinger Tower burgers. What a confusing world it can seem with a hangover. Sit as still as you can. Do not attempt to make any decisions. Look out of the window. Can you recognise simple shapes or colours? Is there a moon or a sun in the sky? What sort of name might you have? Where might there be bacon? Consuming alcohol lowers the body's reserves of vital elements such as iron, potassium, water, and bacon. Every unit of alcohol kills the equivalent of 2 inches of bacon, which must be replaced the next morning. All hail the bacon god. Prepare a hangover first aid kit of a banana and a pint of water to put by your bedside before going out for an evening's drinking. When you wake fully dressed the next morning, you can look at the untouched glass and the uneaten banana and wonder who left them there, and why. Peggy is trying the hair of the dog to get rid of her hangover. She was drinking gin last night, so a sip from the gin bottle will help put her body back in balance. Peggy does not know where the recorder came from. She does remember stealing a busker's hat for her cab fare home. Maybe that explains it. Len's mouth feels like he fell asleep tongue first on an antique bear pelt. His heart is galloping, his hair aches, and he worries that there's sweat building up underneath his fingernails. Len has come outside for some fresh air, but now remembers he's scared of fresh air today. Maybe the policeman can help. "Can I get you a drink, Len?" asked the policeman. Michael is bored. Mummy has not moved since she put the DVD on. The menu screen's been going round and round for 2 hours. Mummy forgot to press play. Michael should not have woken poor Mummy up so early. Friday night works drinks went on longer than expected. Ron has a head like a smelting works full of howler monkeys on ephedrine. Ron is glad Saturday mornings require little more than the vocabulary, reasoning, and motor skills of a 7-year-old. Ron is happy on the floor. Later, he will try to buy a bulb of garlic at a self-service checkout and will burst into tears. The morning after the party, Emmerich is woken by a stray cat licking his face. He has slept under a hedge and cannot remember a thing. Emmerich uses street signs and clues from his clothing to piece together where he lives and what he does for a living. Emmerich hopes it was a fancy dress party. If these are his work clothes, no wonder he needed to drink. The morning after a wedding, everybody feels a little the worse for wear. It can seem like there are no grown-ups left in charge. What will happen? Who will help us? Is this the end? What if the earth crashes into the sun? Do not panic. Soon the hangover will be over and you can all celebrate with a nice drink. Going to work with a hangover might seem impossible, but it is important that you do not lose your job, even if that was the reason you got drunk. Try to turn up at the usual time, say hello to everyone, then have a little nap somewhere quiet, such as the roof. What's the worst that could happen? Hector knows the best way to avoid a hangover is to remember how bad he felt the last time he drank too much wine. Sadly, after the first glass of wine, Hector remembers feeling quite good. And the next glass makes him feel even better. I feel invincible, roars Hector. Try not to drive or operate heavy machinery with a hangover. Last night, Bernie and his crew celebrated winning the Works Canteen quiz. Now they're going to have to build this part of the hospital again. Susan woke up next to a full glass of wine. She left it by the bedside in case she became thirsty in the night. Now Susan does not know whose flat it was or where the nearest station might be. At least she's dressed properly in case there's another party on the walk home. This cat is judging you. Get off the floor and put some underwear on. If you are drinking something unfamiliar, be prepared for it to affect you in unexpected ways. The Distillation Acts of the 17th century introduced gin to many British towns for the first time. This is Canterbury. Tony took £150 out from the cash machine after work. He woke up drenched in sweat, with loose change all over his bed. Tony hopes the many, many coins will be enough to go and buy an important breakfast. Tony has 72p. Most shops offer refunds for purchases if you discover you made while drunk, as long as you kept the packaging and receipt. For younger people, hangover symptoms are mainly physical. The body is listless, the head is sore, they crave food for no reason, and spend a long time in the toilet. For older people, this is perfectly normal, so for them, a hangover is more spiritual. The morning after consuming alcohol, you may find you're more sensitive to noise. Some people can actually see sounds. It's almost as if drinking gives you superpowers. While the effects wear off, remember, you do not have to get out of the way of birdsong or duck when someone calls your name. There are lots of ways to avoid a hangover. Try vomiting regularly into a bag. Put a brick on the bag and keep vomiting in the bag until the bag is full enough to tip over. Or set yourself limits. Try drinking only what you can get into your body without touching the container. This is also a good way of turning drinking from a chore into a game. Winston Churchill was Prime Minister of Britain from 1940 to 1945 and again from 1951 to 1955. He was First Lord of the Admiralty in the Great War, won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and led the Allies to defeat Nazi Germany in the Second World War. He had a persistent nagging hangover from 1892 to 1965 when he died. He never surrendered. The end.